The book has 24 chapters. I just loved the book. Like the first time I read the book, it was amazing. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Life of Issie. Today we're going to be doing another part of Mallory Towers. I'm so excited to be doing this other part of Mallory Towers because I've already done part 1 and I loved it. I just like talking about it. So now I'm going to be doing part 2. So before we begin, remember to like this video, subscribe, comment, share, and yeah, watch definitely. So without further ado, let's begin with part 2. So in part 1, I talked about how Amanda was shouting at June from the window because June didn't come. So eventually when June came, she said that, okay, can you just give me 1 second? Okay, so I stopped when, I think we should get this back because it looks really cute. Okay, so I stopped when Amanda was screaming at June from the window because June didn't want to go because she thought she'll have a punishment book waiting for her, because a punishment book is like this thing they use for like 6th graders or higher graders and other graders, like apart from first formers, can write in their punishment book and say that this person did something, so they'll put the punishment in the punishment book and then they can give them a punishment that they want them to do. So she thought that she was going to have her name in the punishment book, so she didn't want to go, so instead she just did. So eventually when she came up, she got surprising news that Amanda wanted to coach her because Amanda always boned everybody. She won't want anybody. So June was surprised why she wanted to pay attention to her and not pay attention to every other person. So June was like surprised, but eventually she agreed due to some circumstances, like different. Okay, so like in the book, Dara was really sad because like it was already half term. She didn't really want it to be half term because she don't have time to be over at all. Else her stay at Mallory Towers will be over, and she loved it at Mallory Towers, so she could not wait to go to college, but like she had to go to college, so like she wasn't really happy about it. She was happy about it, but she wasn't really happy about it. She loved Mallory Towers, and I'm like a bit surprised that she loves her school so much because like I've changed school about 6 times, so I never really got like to be attached to one school. I don't think up to 6 though, maybe 5, 3. I don't know, but I think it's 6 times. So like I haven't really got attachment to school, so for her to be consistent with the school and have got really attached like it, I'm just really surprised. So yeah, in half term when their parents came. So their parents will come and they will just like hang out with them for some time. They'll be in their lovely rose bush, like rose garden. They have so many roses, but of course the annoying Jo and her parents were like, the dad has no like manners. He was just in everybody's conversation, and then Jo found out how loud he is and how so like he called their teacher Miss Parker. He called her Pokey Parker or something like that, Nosy Parker, yeah. So she was really angry because like that teacher, I think is a class teacher or something, like she never liked Jo, so like she wasn't happy, so she started frowning, and then blah 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 happened. Then she asked her mom if she could call her friend Deirdre. So before the mom could even answer, so that was her favorite teacher, and she didn't want like that annoyance from her dad to reflect as a bad character from her on her teacher. So like she didn't like that, so she called Deirdre, and before the mom could even answer, the dad said of course, and then the dad warned Deirdre that she should stick by his Jew, that it was worth it. So now I want to talk about Gwen, the Gwen character I talked about. When Dara went to drop the new girls in the beginning to Miss Grayling, the head, so she tried to give them this inspirational speech So when she dropped them there as the head girl to give them the inspirational speech, she later, after the girls left, talked with Miss Grayling about she talked about this them being successes and like failures that they had and successes. So like they talked about how Malory Towers has had very small failures, but they were soon beginning to have one that was going to be a failure. And of course, Daryl already knew that that one person who was going to be a failure was Gwen. So Gwen, like, she didn't want to be at this school. She never wanted to be at this school. But there's a saying that goes like, you don't know how much you miss it unless it's taken away from you, and she has to go through that. So one dark day fell upon Gwen. When her father was actually always ill when that time they were arguing, but like she didn't want to write to him. She didn't want to talk to him because she was really angry. Although she has gotten her victory, that's all she boasted about. Like, she loved boasting about how she was able to talk mean words to her father, who took it all in but still eventually gave in for the happiness of his daughter. He just wanted her daughter to get a good job and start business early in life, but that's not what she wanted to do. So like, her father was ill, but she thought he was pretending, so she would just change her mind and get a job. So eventually he was taken to the hospital, and I think her old lesson teacher is what I got from this story, came to pick her up one day and said that her father was really ill and he was not gonna make it. Gwen on the spot started crying. She just started crying. She cried so much that when she stopped, she thought she didn't have more tears, but she still did. So she just cried because like she remembered all the things she said to him, and like how she wanted to say sorry, but she couldn't. She didn't have enough time. Like, she couldn't even see him. They wouldn't allow her to see him. And she did, like, when he was dropping her off at the beginning of the term, she didn't even say goodbye. She just said goodbye to her mom. She didn't say goodbye to him. So she was like, I didn't even say goodbye. Like, I understand how heartbreaking that could be. Like, I could have cried reading that part. Like, I was reading in the night and I had so many dreams. I was like, how would she be feeling at that moment? Like, how heartbreaking will it be? So, she eventually was forced to pack her things, crying. Then Daryl passed by and asked her what was the problem. Karen said that her dad was ill and she didn't get to say goodbye, she didn't get to say sorry, she didn't get to say she didn't have a good final moment with him. All she did was ignore him this last time they saw. So Daryl was really, really sad. She felt really bad for Gwen. Like, how could you feel if you were in that position? So like, Daryl really wanted to help because she's very helpful. Of course, that's what it is. It had head girl. She really wanted to help, and so what she did eventually, she sent some of her luggage that she couldn't carry because the lesson teacher is what I'm gonna call her. They want to miss the next train. So I think governess, her old governess or something like that. So she just helped her pack some of things and sent it by mail or something like that. Like, so like, I was really sad reading Gwen and hearing about Gwen. Reading Gwen's story. Like, the way is so descriptive, especially I think you're watching a movie. I love this book so much. I've been begging my mom to get me a new one. So like, there's a story I want to tell you at the ending before I end this video. So let's just get on. We just have a few more things to talk about. So last thing I really want to talk about is running away. Joe and the Riri were being bullies. Like, so what happened? I'm just gonna tell you the full story. So one day, Joe was having a big birthday party and she wanted everybody to be there. So she wanted to have a feast. So her aunt sent her £25 for her birthday. So she wanted to use those £25 to buy snacks and food. And the rule is, if you have money, you're supposed to give it to matron, and matron dishes it out weekly, small and small. So she didn't want to give it to matron because she's a very stubborn and disobedient girl. So what she did, she kept the money with her inside her skirt. But little did she know her skirt had a hole in it. Like, let me see if I can just read the story for you. Wasn't able to get it right now, but like, I know the story of it. So what else? Yeah, so she didn't want to give the money to matron, and she wanted to keep the money, so she always kept the money in her skirt. But little did she know her skirt had a hole. So one day, as she was walking, £5 each was just falling out. £5, £5, £5, £5, £5. So about £5. So she had £25 and they all fell down. They were like in these envelopes, and then she never knew about that. So she thought that she had the money inside. So as matron came out of her office, she saw a £5 note on the floor. She looked left and right to make sure the students weren't paying the prank on her, and then she picked up the note. And as she was walking again, another £5. And she walked a few more, another £5, then another £5, and then another £5. And of course, she knew there was only one person who this could belong to, which was Joe. So she didn't want to like accuse Joe immediately. All she wanted to do was like, so she had to keep the money and just put a notice on the board and said, like, on this board, I think they have a board, and then they just put notice, maybe if there's a talent show coming up, orientation, something like that, stuff like that. So she just put it on the board, and then she put it on the board. So Joe eventually saw it and cried. She hates matron. She's terrified of matron. So like, she was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? She was scared. She didn't know what to do. Like, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't know what to do either. So like, she was scared. She wanted that money because that was the way, like, she had a fight with the second former, so that was the only way she would make up, by getting them those snacks. So what she did one day, when matron sent Susan to call on Joe. Joe was really scared, but when she got in, nobody was there, and the safe where she keeps the money was half open. Joe went into the room, looked out of the door, made sure nobody was there, and took the £5. But she was very careful and took a pin and pinned them to her skirt, just to make sure they don't fall out again. Like, that was technically classified as stealing because she took an extra note that she wasn't supposed to take. I don't know exactly how much she took, but I'll just say she took an extra £5 note. That means she had £30 now. I don't know exactly how much, but I'm just gonna use that to scare. So she went out. The rule is a third former can go out, a sixth former can go out with the second former, I think, yeah, and a sixth former can also go out with the first former, but a second former cannot go out with a first former, and Davidre is a first former and Joe is a second former, and Joe and Davidre went to go and buy the things, and they're not supposed to go together. So eventually, when they came back, they were late for Davidre's prep. I don't know what that is though. So when the teacher asked her what she was doing, she asked she was going out, and they found that she was going out with the second former, but they didn't know who the second former is, and Davidre did not want to tell her teacher who the second former was. So they put the entire second form class on punishment, and said they couldn't go down to swim for 3 days. So everybody was angry at Joe, and they sent her to conventry. Conventry is like what most people might know as silent treatment. When you won't talk to anybody, you won't even look at them, you won't even think they exist. So they put her in conventry, and she was really unhappy. So in the night, she snuck to the Davidre's room and woke her up, and they said that they wanted to run away the next night. So they planned everything, and there was a smile on her face. The next day, everybody thought she would be angry because she was being sent to conventry, and she wasn't angry, just happy, kinda. So eventually, they ran away in the night. They was really scared. Like, they took all the food that they had packed and took it to this shack where they were going to stay, so they have enough food. Joe said she wants to go back. She wants to walk back home. So they stayed there in the night, in the cold night. Davidre was scared. They just took some mats so they can sleep on the floor, and they munched on some biscuits that were there. So she took Deirdre with her, which she wasn't supposed to, because Deirdre like is easily led. She just wants to show this to me now because she's like a really young age. She's 13 years old, although older than me. But I don't think I'd have made like a silly mistake like that. I will never run away because I don't know where I'm gonna end up. And as long as I'm not being killed or mistreated, like there's no reason to run away. And Deirdre wasn't being killed or mistreated or threatened to be killed or anything like that. Yep, she still was easily misled. I was never even gonna listen to Jill. I wouldn't even have gonna have just screamed for my life or shot the life teacher. So I don't really think that's a good choice, but depending on where she's coming from. And it's something I could have it to rock my chair, but I'm a bit bored. I want to rock my chair. I want to move around. I want to jump, something like that. So they eventually sent some people to look for Joe, but when they called Joe's father and told her that her daughter was missing, the father laughed. Like said that his Joe was just playing another adventure, a game or something, and Miss Grayling was surprised. Like they take no care of Joe. They're not even bothered about what she does. Anything she wants, they get it for her. They're not good parents, so they were angry. And yeah, so what else now? Yeah, so they eventually found Joe in the shack and she was expelled. I felt terrible because again, that saying, you don't know how much you miss something, but you don't accept it when it's taken from you. So she was expelled and she always wrote to Deirdre. Since Deirdre didn't have a mother and her father was at sea and her aunt didn't think that she needed, like, you know, everybody, their parents always sending things to them, send money, send snacks, but Deirdre never got any of that because her mother was dead and her aunt didn't think a little girl would need prices. So when Joe was expelled, they couldn't find a school that would accept her as good as Margarita was. So, but Joe still sent letters and parcels to Deirdre, which made her very happy. So they were still friends, and I think Joe learned a really valuable lesson. So that's basically the book. I think I got everything. Yeah. Okay, there's one more story still about Amanda and Swin. So I don't. Why does this thing keep falling? I don't know why it keeps falling. I think that's too close. Okay, so Amanda is that girl that was good at sports. She's a very good swimmer, but she said that the pool was too small. So she decided to go swim out in the sea. And then there were rocks. But she said she would swim west. To avoid the currents. But eventually, her leg muscles scattered. She was hit against the rock. Look at like this drawing and talking thing isn't really working. So she was hit against the rock and it was really painful. She started bleeding. But June and her had a fight before. Like they were really angry at each other and they stopped this coaching thing because Amanda was teaching June a bit too harsh. So it was like really surprising when June was the one who saved her life by getting a boat and sailing out to help her. So like the enemy saved the enemy, but they became good friends and Amanda promised that now that she can't play sports anymore, she was also planning to go for the Olympics next year, but she can't play sports anymore due to her leg. So she has to just coach people. So she has started giving all her time and the time she was supposed to be using to play sports for herself and giving it all to the young children that need coaching. Everybody just forgot that she never paid attention to them, and then Nan got happy and we're feeling oh so bad for her. She was the talk of the season before first was girl and then Joe's being expelled, and then we now had Amanda being talk of the season. So like that's basically the entire book. I hope I got everything. I'm exhausted, I'm tired of talking, I'm thirsty. I finished my water in one go. So remember to like this video, subscribe. Without further ado, let's just end this video. Like, subscribe, watch, share. And I just might like doing now. Put 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 8, 6, 3. 3, 4. What? Okay, I'm confused, but anyway, so see you later and bye.